Last chance for football? Wait, what? Who's thinking about buying football in June to lock in their NFL and college football picks? Well, with the super early bird football promotion at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we have a few reasons why. Early bird pricing for the NFL and college football combo is $8.99. Using coupon code football100, you can take $100 off, dropping the price to $7.99. If you purchase by June 30th and use coupon code football100 to get your $100 discount, we will also toss in an additional bonus. On July 4th, we'll take the highest scoring MLB game of the day and give you $10 for every run scored. Last year, 2 games put up 15 runs, so that would mean $150 in free wager books to use how you choose. This super early bird $100 discount using Football 100 and WagerBucks bonus expires on June 30th with no exceptions. So if you plan to bet football this year, this is the lowest price we will offer you, so act fast and lock in your favorite football handicappers in both NFL and college football through the National Championship and Super Bowl.
Welcome on in to Asian baseball today. It might be rainy and cold almost everywhere, it's seeming like, but it's nice and hot here on Asian baseball today because my guy's on a 4-0 best bet run. That's 4 straight cashes on the free plays given out here live on the show. There were some rainouts. There was also a rainout for me. I sat on tarmac for 3 hours, but we're not here to hear me complain about airlines like we did before the show. We're here to find some winners. Let's bring in the guys. We got Adam Trigger and Tokyo Brandon, the experts as always. And Adam, how are you doing, brother? I know you got a 4%er loaded for tonight, and man, these best bets, we just keep on cashing them. What do you have up tonight?
Yeah, no, Dan, it's going great right now. I really can't complain. 22-8 in my last 30 plays. Hit my only bet for Thursday. It just finished. The Brewers got it done against the Cardinals. So another MLB winner there. 7-1 in my last 8 KBO plays, and I've got another 4% play up for sale for the morning. So we're just going to try to keep rolling. It's been really good so far in the month of June. It's a 22-8 run. That's like 73%. And we will go for another one in the morning.
22-8. Yeah, nobody's going to be complaining about that. Clients of Adam Trigger loving their month. Clients of Tokyo Brandon loving recent, past as well. How about 6-0 sweep on the board for Brandon yesterday? An 18% profit day in one day. Like, not talking a month, not talking, what a day. You're running hot. You're seeing the board well, Brandon. How are you doing? And do you have anything loaded tonight?
It was a really good day, and I would have been 7-0 in Asian baseball if the Hanshin Tigers had not blown their 2-0 lead in the bottom of the 5th inning. I had them first 5 money line, which was a push. So, yeah, I would say out of all the WagerTalk shows between Adam and me, this probably has to be the winningest show, although I haven't taken a tally on that. But, yeah, we're running hot, and I have a 4% play out tonight in Japanese baseball. That's available on my WagerTalk page. I just put it out right before the show. I'm a little groggy, woke up a little late, so I have not put all my plays out, but I did get that one out before the show.
Well, wake the hell up, Brandon, because we got winners to find on the show today, my guy. So let's get right on to it, guys. Start with the standings update so we can get into some actionable info here. SSG's lead, every time I feel we talk on here, it goes a little bit up, a little bit down, just one game up. Sure, if you look at the win-loss, it's 2 games back for Kiwoom, but only 1 up in the win column. LG and Kia also keeping it interesting there. And then these typical teams kind of jockeying for position. We got KT, Doosan, Samsung, finding their footing. All 3 of them coming off of a loss, 3 straight for Samsung. And we got Lotte, NC, and Hanwha. The real story is at the bottom there with NC really putting a lot of distance. Hanwha is just in a free fall. 10 straight losses, 9 losses, 1 draw in their last 10. it's been a bad way for the Eagles. Adam, I want to start with you in our takeaway segment here, just because, we talked about dealing with weather issues. For me, for baseball, we had some rainouts, and while rainouts, maybe it'll make you end up with a push on a play or avoided play, we could look forward and see how this might either help or hurt some teams. And I'm wondering, do you have any thoughts on how these rainouts that happened on Thursday morning, I guess, are going to affect moving forward and handicapping this next slate of games?
Yeah, Dan. So I just want to start. I'm going to pound this point home on this show basically every time we have a weather-related issue, because I think it's so important to handicapping these games. Unlike Major League Baseball, where they want to get games in because the managers do not like doubleheaders. In the KBO, they rarely play doubleheaders. They pretty much, for the most part, if there's a rainout, especially if it's in the middle of the week, they just tack the games on to the back end of the season, because they leave like 2 to 3 weeks of nothing before the playoffs to get all these games in. So there's actually been instances in years past of coaches being furious that they played a game that could have been called, because it really, like in some instances, it really helps a team out, because pitching's always at a premium, right? Like, and you look at yesterday, 6 of the 10 teams didn't have to play in the middle of the week. And what does that allow them to do? It basically it's a free day of rest for a bullpen, and it allows them, to potentially not have to start a guy twice. There are so many advantages that come from getting the midweek rainout. And on the flip side, if you don't get it, it could really put you at a disadvantage. So, team that I think is at a massive disadvantage because of not getting a rainout yesterday is Kia, because they've really been struggling with the pitching. And that a day off would have really helped their pitching, but they don't get it. They have to play. And we'll talk about that more later in the show. But you look at some teams that really might have benefited. Hanwha, obviously, like, they've been shorthanded pitching all year. So to get that rain out lets them reset. Not to mention they bring in Jeffrey Ramirez earlier this week. So they've got another arm in there, and they've got some reinforcements coming in. The KT Wiz, perfect time for a rainout. They get hammered 11-0 on Wednesday, get a complete reset, and now Sangbek gets to go back to the bullpen. You likely get Wes Benjamin back this week. So KT's in a great spot after being rained out yesterday. And then the SSG Landers, you talked about it at the top of the show. They're in first place. The only reason this team sort of, comes back to the pack a little bit, in my opinion, at least recently, they've had pitching injuries, and they've had to go at it with, without their full complement of pitchers. So to get a day off and sort of reset their rotation, also knowing that Ivan Nova may come back, but might not, might be on a pitch count, that's really big for the Landers as well. So those are 4 teams right there. 3 that I think, Hanwha, KT, SSG all benefited. And Kia, in my opinion, would have loved to have a rainout yesterday, but not getting one might put them in a tough spot come this weekend.
Yeah, and like Adam said, we'll get into this a little bit further as we get into some of these series breakdowns and, of course, our best bet segments. So, I think anytime Hanwha doesn't have to play a game, it seems like it's probably a good thing. Whether it's, pitcher rest, just not having to go out there and lose one, it seems like that's worked out for him. So, Brandon, I've really enjoyed, in your takeaway segments, you've been doing a little bit more, peeling back the curtain, going with some of these statistical trends and angles that help you formulate your handicaps. And for today, you wanted to get into some team-specific matchups and how that maybe affects how you're betting games. So the floor is yours, my guy.
Yeah, I don't think the rain's going to help Hanwha enough to get them some wins. I think they need an Armageddon to come up in the standings there. I think they need the end of the world as we know it to make any progress there. But yeah, what I'm going to break down today is, there she is, Joe's wife. All right, cool. So, what I do is I keep track of teams' head-to-head matchups and game totals in those matchups. I know every game is pitcher-specific and situation-specific, but it does benefit us as handicappers to know which teams generally have high scoring games and which teams generally have low scoring games. So, the lowest scoring games in the matchups between all the teams is around 6.5. Between 6 and 6.5 is the low end of the scale, and the high end of the scale is 11 to 11.5. So, what teams do you think would be in? So, for example, like when Hama plays NC, what is the average game score of that? Or when Doosan plays KT, what's the average game score? So that's what I'm breaking down here. So there are certain matchups that bring low scores, and the team that is always in that low score parameter is NC, and it probably has to do with the fact that they're not hitting that well. Although they're doing a little better lately, but they're not hitting that well, and their bullpen is doing pretty good, and they have a decent starting rotation. So, of the 5 matchups that are 6.5 or under, NC is in 3 of them. So, and the lowest being NC versus Hama. So when NC plays Hama, the average game score is 6.1. It doesn't mean every game is going to be under, but it just tells you that when these two teams get together, generally it's a low game. So when Hama has a decent starter out there, might want to bet an under in that. So let's take a look at the high end. So NC is notoriously a low-scoring team, and they are notoriously in the team matchups that are 6.5 or under. Let's take a look at the high end. So 10 to 11 to 11.5. These game scores, let's just take a look at the very highest one is Doosan versus SSG. So when Doosan and SSG get together, the average game score is 11.6. Doesn't mean every time it's going to be high, but it just means that these two teams tend to play overs. And looking at everything that's 10 plus in all of these matchups, the teams that are notoriously in the 10 plus matchups are Hanwha and Doosan. Incidentally, when Hanwha and Doosan get together, their game score is 11.6. But of all the matchups that are 10 or over, a game score average of 10 or over, let's see, there's 10 of these matchups, and Doosan is in 5 of them, and Hanwha is in 7 of them. So we're going to get a lot of high scores with Hanwha and Doosan. So Hanwha happens to be in some of the low scoring matchups, and Hanwha tends to be in some of the high scoring matchups. So Hanwha's going to be Hanwha. They suck. But it's interesting to note that Doosan has more high scores than any other team. So that's interesting to note. And NC has many of the low scores. So NC is trending as a very low matchup as far as team total or as far as game totals, and Doosan is trending as a very high game score. So those are just matchups that I look at. These are not things to base 100%, like Ralph says with all of his stats and stuff. These are not things to completely base a handicap on, but these are things when you have your handicap ready, should I make this a 3%, 4%? And then if I have a Doosan and there's a game total of 7 over under, and I'm like, Doosan always scores 11 against these guys. Let's go over. Let's make it a 5%. So this is something to push you over the edge.
So some team matchup trends, a little how the sausage is made there from our guy Tokyo Brandon. And also, Brandon, I got to warn you, man, Monday, Joe Ranieri's going to be filling in for me while I'm down in Florida. So you keep the jokes coming like that. You may have a Will Smith, Chris Rock situation where you may just have, the 5 fingers, what they say to the face. I'm just warning you, TB. I'm looking out for you, brother.
Yeah.
Let's get into our feature game breakdown.
I'll see him in August, too, because I'm going to the meet and greet, the WagerTalk meet and greet. I will be there. So, yeah. We'll
I think
see
our
Joe
whole crew here is going to be at the meet and greet. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we're also going to have Robert, our producer, behind the scene. He's trying to get out there. So I'm hoping I'll make sure that our guy Chris is rolling the camera if the 5 fingers do meet the face, because that's something that the viewers need to see. Guys, let's get into the series, or excuse me, the feature game for today. We got the LG Twins taking on the KT Wiz. Wiz a 150 favorite with that little added, motivation maybe with the struggles that they've been going through. But both of these teams should probably be rested after a rain out. Brandon, I'm going to start with you first. KT Wiz, like I said, the favorite, over under in this one, 8.5. How are you betting this game? Do you really see any value heading into this one, or just kind of poised to see how these teams affect, or how the rest affects either of these squads?
Yeah. So I picked this matchup because it's probably the best matchup of the day. It's probably the most entertaining game of the day, but I picked this matchup before the numbers came out, and I made notes here that I know KT is going to be the favorite in this, but we should give LG a chance, was my note. And then before the show, I checked the numbers, and as I expected, KT is a huge favorite here. But they're a huge favorite here because of the starting pitcher, Ko Young-pyo. Ko Young-pyo is a really good pitcher. He's got a 1.01 WHIP so far this season with a 2.47 ERA, and that's amazing in the KBO. So as far as Korean pitchers, I haven't compared numbers, but that's probably the best you're going to find out there. So he's been great. But LG's starter, Im Chang-kyu, he's on a roll. He's only got 4 earned runs in his last 4 starts. I don't have any data with him playing against KT. In the last 2 years, he hasn't faced them. His whip is regressing this season. His career whip is 1.52, and his whip on the season is 1.68. But like I said, in his last 4 starts, he's been amazing. And overall, LG has a better lineup than KT. Although, as Adam has been saying in recent shows, KT is making comeback because they got some injured players back. This is a tight matchup. And these two teams, when they get together, the average game score is 7.7. So I expect it to be fairly low scoring. 2 really good pitchers on the mound, especially KT's pitcher. These are 2 of the better bullpens in the game. So I think you should give LG a chance here and give them the +1.5. They've got the best bullpen in the game, and their starting pitcher is decent. If we have a lower game score, like around 7, if you get 2 runs out of the 7, you're likely going to win. So I would give LG a chance in this one. And I think the +1.5 was only -130 and -140. I think that's a decent number to take a chance with. Probably LG is probably the best put together team in all of KBO. So I would give them a shot there.
Brandon leaning towards the dog in this one, our featured games. That's Tokyo Brandon's thoughts. If you want to hear Adam 22-8 run Trigger's thoughts, well, you're going to have to wait to the best bet segment. While we're spending some time here, or getting ready to go for the end, why don't you head on over to these guys' pages? Both of them 4% plays loaded right now. I mentioned Trig Streak there, a 6-0 sweep for Brandon. So open up another tab. Don't stop watching our video here. Head on over, grab their 4%ers, and get ready to roll. Adam, since I'm making them wait, I'll throw it your way for series breakdown. However, let's go to this Kia and Doosan series, because Doosan, one of those teams you were talking about at the top, affected by that weather. Kia, however, they maybe looking to keep on rolling after a 7-4 win over Lotte. So what do you think? Do they keep it rolling as they're facing off against Doosan, or does that rest, as you maybe alluded to at the top, help out the Bears? How are you breaking this one down in our series breakdown?
Yeah, I think this is a nightmare scenario for Kia this weekend. And the rest does help Doosan, but they've also, so let's just start from the top, right? Like Kia, they've had issues with the bullpen for weeks now. Sean Nolan, their import starter, has been on the DL for weeks. And Ronnie Williams is the import starter they got back, and he's been a mess since coming back. He's clearly, something's up with him. He's clearly hurt because this guy was lights out. He gets hurt. They rush him back from injury, and suddenly he can't get outs. I mean, he's barely making it 3-4 innings in games. He hasn't been very effective. So to have to Kia could have really, like I said, they really could have used the rain out yesterday. Not getting it, but then winning a 7-4 game means they burned a starter and they burned probably 3 or 4 of their top relievers to close that game out. So Doosan's been a fade to me, but Ariel Miranda's probably back this weekend. So it looks like he's going to make the start Saturday. That I don't know that that's set in stone. They're going to probably see, because there could be some rain this weekend too. I can guarantee you Doosan's not going to trot him out there if it's raining because of the, he said shoulder, whatever. But here's how the series is probably going to line up. And I'm going to just try to show you how it could be a nightmare for Kia. And with Kia being as good as they have been of late, you might be able to go against them here and find yourself a good spot later in the series. Now, unfortunately, the books kind of beat us to it for Friday because Doosan's minus 155, right? So there's not a ton of value there. It's Robert Stock, who has been Doosan's best pitcher. He's going up against Han for Kia. So, what I'll give you for the first game, because Kia did use some of their better relievers tomorrow, I'm not a great totals handicapper. I don't play a ton of them, but I could see a ton of runs in this game. If Kia can do anything off of Robert Stock, that should go over. It should find a way over. But if Kia can find a way to win in spite of their current situation, you might have a really good chance to fade Kia later in this series because Ariel Miranda is going to be back, but that also means Doosan's got Wanjun Choi and Young-Ha Lee still, able to pitch this weekend. Lee got the start on Tuesday. He's been a lot better. Choi is going to make a start this weekend. So theoretically, what you're going to probably have here is Young-Ha Lee being the piggyback guy in one of those scenarios. But they also get to move Shinzi Park back to the bullpen because he didn't have to pitch yesterday. So suddenly, Doosan's pitching is looking a lot better this weekend than it has been for the last week or so. They're kind of set as far as pitching because every bullpen guy is rested. And now you've got Robert Stock making the start tomorrow. You have Ariel Miranda's going to get a start this weekend. They're going to probably go Wonjun Choi, who's one of the better domestic pitchers in the other game. And you've got Young-Ha Lee and Shinzi Park behind them. So this series, really, the pitching shapes up in favor of Doosan in this series. And I'll leave you with one stat, though, that really kind of threw me a little bit here. Doosan's been awful at home this year, and Kia's been excellent on the road. So do what you will with that. I don't really know what to make of that. But, man, this series really shapes up well for Doosan. And if Kia burns through more pitching, there's going to be a spot where it's a no-brainer to go against Kia. I just don't know if that's tomorrow. I lean Doosan a little bit, but I would wait till later in the series to see if you find that best bet opportunity with Doosan.
Some potential best bet potential on Doosan in their series coming up against Kia. Will be interesting to see how that plays out over the weekend. That's Adam Trigger. Tokyo, Brandon, we're going to swing it to NPB. This is Asian baseball today, of course. You've been doing a great job handicapping both of them, running hot in each of them. You want to look at the Yokohama Baystars as they take on the Hiroshima Carp. How are you betting this one, Brandon? And right out of the gate, do you see any best bet potential, even the first game of the 3-game set?
Yeah, so here's a spoiler alert. This is how I'm going to be playing this series. Over the mountain, take me across the sky. Anyone who likes Ozzy, Ozzy has got to be probably the best heavy metal vocalist of all time. Ozzy and Dio, probably neck and neck. Maybe Rob Halford. Okay, so this is how I'm approaching this series. I'm going to be betting a lot of overs in this series because I'm going to lay off tonight, though, because Yokohama DNA is putting their best starter out, Imanaga. The guy is a really good pitcher, so I'm going to lay off tonight. But in Japanese baseball, like I've said many times in previous shows, game scores are generally about 5.5 as opposed to the KBO, which they're over 8.5. We got a lot of pitching duels. It's basically a bunch of Otanis and Masahiro Tanakas and Darvishes facing guys who have no pop in their bats. So we get a lot of 3-2, 3-1 scores in Japanese baseball. A lot of pitchers duels. If you like Nolan Ryan versus Tom Seaver, those are the kind of games you're going to get in Japan. But DNA and Hiroshima Carp have two of the worst bullpens in the game. And they have two of the better lineups, especially DNA. I call Yokohama Baystars. I call them DNA because they're called the Yokohama DNA Baystars. So the Baystars have a lot of pop in their lineup. They've got Maki, who's in his second year. The guy's a dynamo. He leads the Central League in RBIs, batting average, home runs, you name it. He probably leads everything. The guy's amazing, and he's clutch. With batters, runners in scoring position, he's hitting something like 700. I mean, the guy's amazing. He's clutch. So I'm expecting a lot of runs in this series, but I would lay off tonight. So for Saturday and Sunday's games, if you see any 7s or 7.5s, bet the overs in this, because you're not. Look, all season, I've never seen a 9 in Japanese baseball, and I've seen an 8 once. So we're probably going to get a lot of 7.5 over and unders from the books. So if you see a 6, grab it and bet the farm. But if you see 7.5, I would take overs in that. Not tonight's game, but the next 2 on Saturday and Sunday, I would bet overs in those.
So potential over series between DNA and the Hiroshima Carp. And you know that he just picked that series just so he could set himself up for a song reference. Like you know that was Aussie. A guarantee. Yeah. Anytime you're getting a little Aussie boneyard, I won't stop you there. Guys, this best bet segment has been terrific. It's been must see here on WagerTalk TV. Hopefully people have been riding, because it's been 4 straight cashes in the best bet segment. So let's keep it rolling. No pressure. I'll even knock on wood, take the jinx off. Adam, I'm going to start with you because we made people wait long enough for your thought on our featured game matchup. That's the LG Twins and the KT Wiz. You're on a 7-1 KBO run, so remind people what you have up, what they can ride with you with your client plays, and also let them know what your best bet is in our featured game.
Yeah, so 7-1 KBO run. Did not have a play yesterday because I was very, very certain it would get rained out or be affected by rain, and that was the case. So we pick back up today, for Friday morning. But yeah, we'll go for 8-1. And it's been a 22-8 run overall. So things have been going really good. The best bets on the show have been going great, so I'll try to hit another one. I like the KT Wiz here. I agree with Brandon. The price is a little high, which is probably the main reason that I'm not giving it out to clients or suggesting it as a bet. But from a matchup perspective, if we're just trying to pick a winner here, I think KT is the right side. We've talked about LG being that team that's kind of doesn't have a flaw, but I think I found one with LG that really might start to hinder them going forward. And that's they really don't get length from their starting pitchers. This team, their bullpen is just racking up innings right now. And if you've noticed, their bullpen, though it's the top unit in the league at 3.12 bullpen ERA, they've slowly but surely regressed in that bullpen department because they were I think they were under 2 for the first month of the season. And I think that has something to do with the fact that they're really not getting many nights off. Like they're coming in and being asked to throw 4 innings every single game. So they benefited from the rain out as well. Had LG had to use bullpen guys yesterday, there's no question I probably would have had KT as a 4%er. Since they have a rested bullpen here, I'm not as high on it, but I still think this matchup with Ko on the mound against Chan-Kyu Im, who has a 5.80 ERA and 1.68 WHIP, with KT coming off the day off after getting blown out by NC, I think it's the right spot for KT to get another win. They've been excellent ever since they got their guys back. And the rain out definitely helps them reset their pitching. So KT Wiz, -150, best bet for the show. And just to throw this in there, I will absolutely be looking at KT this weekend if I get the right price and the right setup. So LG Twins might be a little bit of a fade for me going forward. But here for Friday, show best bet, I would lay the juice with KT. I think they get it done.
Best bet, the spot, the rest, looking towards the KT Wiz on the money line. Back to the well we go. Brandon, fresh off a 6-0 sweep, a plus 18% profit day, so you're feeling real nice heading into the best bet segment here. Remind people what you have up for tonight, how they can become a client of yours, and also let people know what are we doing for this free pick. Let's keep it rolling.
I guess my Buster Poindexter feeling hot on the last show was a good thing for both Adam and me because we both are running real hot. I have a 4% play out tonight in Japanese baseball. It's a straight up full game money line. It's available in every book, and it's only $9. So go to Tokyo Brandon's page at WagerTalk.com, and you will find that. So to add to Adam's point, I just did a quick little run on my database while he was talking, and he's correct. LG uses their bullpen the second most in the KBO, the most being Doosan and the second most being LG. So yeah, both of those teams are burning through their bullpen at an alarming rate. Doosan's bullpen is bad and LG's is good, but yeah, you might see some regression in their bullpen due to overuse, to add to his point. So my best bet is in the Kia game, and I broke it down. Adam actually broke it down a little earlier. We do have Robert Stock on the mound against Kia. Kia is seeing a lot of issues in their pitching, but they're not seeing any issues in their hitting. As a matter of fact, in the last 7 days, they're averaging 5.3 runs per contest, where Doosan's averaging 5.5. So these are two big hitting teams. Where we're betting numbers and not teams, though. So we, as cappers, we have to kind of pry in and find an advantage where we think the bookmakers are going to be overcompensating or undercompensating. And anytime the bookmakers see a foreign name in the starting pitching column, they tend to overcompensate the other way. Robert Stock is the foreign import pitcher here, but his numbers are not that good. He's got a 1.41 whip, which is not very good. I have him ranked 19 out of 70 pitchers, which is fairly high. But Kia is hitting well, and the last time Stock went against Kia, they blew him up. He is the better starting pitcher here, but they blew him up for 5 runs in the last start when he went against him. As far as foreign or import pitchers, as Adam calls them, he is at the bottom of the group. So I'm looking at a Kia team total over 3.5. I looked at the book, and it's 3.5 right now. This is a team that's averaging over 5.5 runs a game in the last week. They're hitting hot. So don't worry about Kia's pitching or their bad bullpen, which is losing games for them. Just worry about Kia knocking some runs in. And like I said, last time against Robert Stock, they got to him. And, Doosan's bullpen is the most overused, and it ranks 8 out of 10 as far as statistics are concerned. I think Robert Stock gets knocked out, at least in the 5th inning, which means Kia and their great lineup can tee off on that terrible Doosan bullpen. I like Kia over 3.5 in this game.
Brandon saying the highest scoring team in the KBO up and over their team total of 3.5. So hopefully let's keep these best bets rolling. Remind you that Tokyo Brandon going Kia Tigers, and our guy Adam Trigger is going with the KT Wiz on the money line. Hey, these guys have been cashing them like crazy, so you should have more than enough money from the free bets to head on over to their pages, grab their 4% best bets, grab a 3-day package, 7-day. I suggest riding with them for the month. If you've been riding with Trig in June, you're pretty damn happy right about now. So all we ask you to do is, well, make sure if you like the show, like, subscribe, hop below in the comments, let us know your thoughts on the slate, because you just got the experts' thoughts for free. So that does it for us. Hopefully you have a profitable weekend. And for my guys, Tokyo Brandon, Adam Trigger, and Robert behind the scenes, I'm Dan Alexander, and we'll talk to you Monday on Asian Baseball Today.
Last chance for football? Wait, what? Who's thinking about buying football in June to lock in their NFL and college football picks? Well, with the super early bird football promotion at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we have a few reasons why. Early bird pricing for the NFL and college football combo is $8.99. Using coupon code football100, you can take $100 off, dropping the price to $7.99. If you purchase by June 30th and use coupon code football100 to get your $100 discount, we will also toss in an additional bonus. On July 4th, we'll take the highest scoring MLB game of the day and give you $10 for every run scored. Last year, 2 games put up 15 runs, so that would mean $150 in free wager bucks to use how you choose. This super early bird $100 discount using Football 100 and WagerBucks bonus expires on June 30th with no exceptions. So if you plan to bet football this year, this is the lowest price we will offer you, so act fast and lock in your favorite football handicappers in both NFL and college football through the National Championship and Super Bowl.